ESPN. A couple of legitimate heavyweights, blue bloods, top 10 teams, however you want to slice it. This has a big feel to it tonight. Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, this will be a great test for both of these programs.
Two of the all-time greatest programs in college basketball history, but this is not a final exam. This is a midterm. It counts toward your final grade, but the final exam is going to come in March, and these two teams are building toward March, and I'm not sure anyone's building faster than Kentucky.
Maria Taylor, Holly Rower with us on as well tonight. Maria's with Coach Cal.
All right, thanks, Dan. Coach, it is mid-season non-conference top 10 matchup. You said it'll be a learning experience. What will you learn about your guys tonight?
Well, what I told them in the huddle, this isn't March. The season goes on. Let's just find out where we are in January. You know, this is one of those games. It's going to be a heck of a ball game, I hope.
We hope so too, Coach. All right, Holly, take it away.
Well, Coach, Kentucky has size and depth in the post. How can you maximize Dedrick Lawson, your great post player tonight?
We need to move him around, keep him out of foul trouble. But biggest thing is we got to stop transition. We need to rebound the ball, and we need to enjoy the moment. This is about as good as it gets, so we should have a lot of fun tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
This is about as good as it gets. Thanks to the two Hall of Fame coaches for a little live sound right before the tip tonight. And here in Lexington with about 24,000 strong, we are ready for the tip of our Sonic Blockbuster. Kentucky in home white, Kansas in visiting blue. KU has won the last 3 matchups in this rivalry. Kentucky controls the opening tip.
Devon Dotson, the freshman point guard, number 11 for Kansas on Ashton Hagans. That will be a matchup to watch.
Tyler Hero, who's been shooting the ball better in a conference play than he was earlier. This is obviously not conference play, but he has been shooting it well the last several weeks. The leading scorer the last few weeks. It's into Travis inside, and he gets met underneath the rim by Lawson. Now Dotson is wide open in transition, but he misses the 3.
Well, the first possession, Kentucky went right into Reed Travis, who was being guarded by Dedrick Lawson, to try to get Lawson to guard, see if you can get him in a little bit of foul trouble.
And Hero, in a little bit too much of a hurry, turns it over with a walk.
You know what's interesting about Dedrick Lawson, who I think is right up there with anybody for National Player of the Year consideration, is you can talk all you want about, well, he's not an explosive athlete. That guy knows how to play, and he's long-armed. He knows how to guard people. He's good.
It's good position inside, but can't finish. Lawson second of the Big 12 in scoring, first in the Big 12 in rebounding on the season.
Set a little back screen for him to get him on the low block, and you're going to see Bill Self do a lot of that stuff. Try to tailor actions to get Dedrick Lawson the ball deep.
Interesting matchup with Marcus Garrett, who's moved into the starting lineup in recent weeks. Really a guard, but a big guard guarding the 4-man for the most part, and P.J. Washington, although they'll switch a lot, and they do right here, and Washington gets the jump hook to go.
Well, they're going to switch a ton, and that means there's going to be a number of smaller guys that are going to be guarding the inside players for Kentucky. Reed Travis, P.J. Washington. Can Kentucky get them the ball?
John Calipari in recent days, as Legero Vic knocks down the jumper. John Calipari has said of P.J. Washington, I want him to get 35 and 20. I want him to be the best player of the country. I want him to bring it every single game.
Well, he's got to be consistent. I mean, you know, John Calipari knows there's no player out there who's going to get 35 every night, but he wants him to be aggressive and looking to score all the time. Last possession down, Kansas ran a chin action, and they're getting downhill and getting into the lane.
Quentin Grimes with a pull-up jumper, KU on top.
That was just too easy. That's 2 possessions in a row where Kansas has been able to bounce into a short jumper that has been uncontested.
And they did a great job getting penetration in the win over Iowa State on Monday. Got into the lane time and time again against the Cyclones. Reed Travis working hard on the offensive glass, and now Washington comes down with 1. Hagans, not really a shooter, gets inside, and he's fouled.
Offensive rebounds are going to be a huge deal for Kentucky. With all these different switches, you've got Legero Vic trying to block out P.J. Washington. See him underneath, there's a switch, he's got to get Washington. And once the shot goes up, he's right there for the offensive board. That was the little jump hook.
Washington again with Garrett on him, the handoff to Hero. Hagans open, misses the 3, another offensive rebound, and yet another one by Kentucky. Jump Lawson puts it back in.
Once a shot goes up, that's when the fight begins. This game is going to be decided on the backboards and in the paint. There is no question about it. Neither of these teams prolific three-point shooting teams. It's going to be decided on the glass.
Marcus Garrett misses the runner. Higgins with a burst of speed, and he draws another foul.
Kentucky is bigger and broader. And once the ball goes up, you can see Reed Travis going up against Dedrick Lawson. They've just got the advantage. Quentin Grimes holding his chin, took one in the chops. And it was all white shirts pursuing the ball. And blue shirts just hoping it came to him on that possession.
First sub of the game belongs to Kentucky. Emmanuel Quickly has come into the game. Keldon Johnson heads to the bench for the Cats.
Quickly's a good shooter. A little horn set up top, high-low action.
This is Quickly guarded by Grimes.
There's a switch.
And a steal by Garrett, an outstanding defensive player whose offense has really become terrific the last 3 games. He's had the 3 highest scoring games of his Kansas career in their last 3 games.
Yeah, averaging 17 a game over that period. And he's been able to get downhill and get into the lane largely because Devon Dotson has created opportunities for him.
Washington the rebound. Higgins leads him up the court. Hero with a pull-up. And Travis getting called over the back.
Both teams getting open shots and just missing them. But the difference has been Kentucky's getting shot after shot. At the early stages of a prize fight where each team is throwing haymaker after haymaker, but they're not connecting.
Travis will sit down. Nick Richards comes into the game. No matter who Coach Cal brings in all likelihood, they'll have 2 bigs and a significant size advantage at the 4 spot over Kansas.
Good cut. They're just winning their 4 game where they're just trying to get into the lane, drive the ball.
Deflected by Hero, still 7 to shoot. And Washington with yet another rebound.
Quentin Grimes is a good talent, but he has really been struggling. Every good game he has followed up by 2 where he struggles.
No basket, but Richards is fouled as Kentucky executes the pick and roll well. Tied at 4 in the early going. You're watching the SEC on ESPN.
Under Ted Owens, and he also was an assistant under Larry Brown, so he spent 3 total seasons in Lawrence, Kansas, and that's where Coach Cal got his head start, guys.
One of a number of connections, thank you, Maria, between these 2 historic programs. Coach Cal also wired for sound tonight.
What a great game to play. This thing's over in 2 hours. And the season keeps going. This is one where we really find out where are we in January.
As we talked about, as you said, it's a midterm. Where are they in January? And this goes a long way towards maybe where they can get to in March.
Well, we've already seen Kansas. I mean, they've already beaten 5 top 25 teams, including Tennessee and Brooklyn. That was a good block out there by Dedrick Lawson. And neither of these teams are great shooting teams, but they both have a great shooter. With Gerald Vick and also Tyler Hero, this guy here.
And Hero with a burst of speed lays it in and give a, in quotes, assist, if you will, to Nick Richards with a blocked shot at the other end.
That's the difference that Nick Richards brings on the floor. He is a shot blocker, rim protector. And when he's in the ball game, teams are more reluctant to challenge Kentucky at the rim.
He averages about 1 block every 9 minutes of action, which may not sound like a lot, but it is. That is a very, very high ratio for a guy who's only playing about 10, 12 minutes off the bench, the former McDonald's All-American.
Yeah, he has to find his way onto the floor more because he's a game changer for Kentucky.
Quickly thought about it. Forces it up off the back of the iron, and another rebound for Lawson.
Kansas can't really stretch the floor right now without Gerald Vick on the floor.
Grimes left it short again. Washington another rebound. As you mentioned, Grimes, he's having a tough season. There's a double dribble on Higgins. Grimes can be a big-time shooter, big-time scorer, but it's just not going his way right now. As we get a little bit more on KU with Holly Rowe.
Well, Quentin Grimes, after after coming out of the locker room at halftime on Monday night, did not start the second half. Bill Self went with another player, and I talked to Quentin today about it. I said, were you in the tank after that? And he said, of course. You know, I was upset. It's hard not to take that personally, but he said, I talked to my family. I just have to keep believing, and I know I'm a good player. I know what I can do. And he said, I'm not down about it. I'm just going to come out and keep working hard.
He has to start competing. It's like, look, great block by Nick Richards. That's what I'm talking about. You challenge the rim, and he can erase it. A difference maker. Well, back to Quentin Grimes. Competing has to be #1 for him. He has to impact the game without scoring. You can't have your shot be the only thing that matters in a game.
And Grimes on the bench right now. Ochai Agbaji is into the game for Kansas, a guy who was redshirting, but they burned that red shirt. They made him an active player about the time that they found out Udoka Azubuike was going to be out for the season with that hand injury. And a very different kind of player, but they just need bodies right now. Boy, Lawson looked like he expected to hear a whistle and maybe an offensive foul. Everybody stopped moving for a while.
It was a flop.
Yeah, and then Agbaji knocks down a 3.
Yeah, Tyler Hero got caught on the switch, so he was guarding Lawson inside. When Lawson got the ball, Hero was at a disadvantage, and just instead of walling up, he just flopped. Because there's no way if he turns around that a guy as strong as Tyler Hero is going to go down like he got hit by a car. So the officials are doing a good job of ignoring that.
Well, good matchups all over the floor. Garrett on Johnson right now.
A great switch by Agbaji. Good now on Hero.
Jump hook. Richards not there, and the rebound for LeGerald Vick. Vick has had a very good shooting season, but also has had a very streaky shooting season. Really up and down with a 3. Leads the Big 12 in three-point percentage. This time he gets to the rim and extends the lead.
Every time LeGerald Vick catches the ball, he's got to be made to put it on the floor. And he made a great play there, but it was just a 2. If he's allowed to catch and shoot from 3, he can put up 30 on you in a heartbeat.
And a Kentucky turnover. And the crowd growing a little bit restless. Less than 8 minutes into this game. The Cats are playing well. They've won 5 in a row. They won at Auburn, although they blew a 17-point lead and barely won the game. And they looked very good against Mississippi State here during the week. They might be playing their best basketball of the season coming into this game.
Well, they have been, but doesn't it seem like Kentucky's going a little bit too fast on the offensive end right now? They're running past opportunities instead of catch the ball, shot fake, do something with it.
And you can understand why the adrenaline is really going for players on both teams heading into this game.
Good drive.
And Garrett is fouled.
Garrett caught the ball and immediately did something with it. He didn't catch and hold, catch and look. He caught it and went immediately downhill. E.J. Montgomery, see, that's the difference in being a good defender and a great one. You have to play your man before he catches the ball. And E.J. Montgomery started playing Marcus Garrett after he caught it.
Dotson, one of the quickest point guards in the country, against Higgins, one of the best defensive point guards in the country. Garrett for 3, not there, and Hero down to the board.
That's the right shot. It's just Garrett isn't a great shooter.
And out of bounds, it stays with UK as we go to a break. Kansas up 3 early here at Rupp.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. In person or online, Block has your back. And in part by Sonic. Get a quarter-pound double cheeseburger or a Slinger Plus Tots for just $2.99.
Actually, I could only coach PJ until he was in about 8th grade because I was too competitive, and PJ didn't really want to be coached by his mother anymore. But it's funny that both of these guys, they did play together under Team Penny, his EYBL team, so they're very comfortable going against each other. And there you go. There's Sherry Washington hanging out with Diedrich just a little bit before pregame, guys.
Very cool story. Thank you, Maria and Holly. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis with you here at Rupp as well. And just some ugly shooting numbers so far in this game. The two teams a combined 7 for 28 from the field. Shot clock running down to 5. Johnson recognizes, can't get a shot off. Hero forces it up.
That's great help by David McCormick. That was great help defense by McCormick.
And now we see Kansas with McCormick in there going with a bigger lineup with McCormick and Diedrich Lawson up front at the same time. Changes the look for KU, which by and large has been playing a 4-guard lineup since the season-ending injury to Azubuike. Dotson Montgomery got a piece, but able to follow is Zubacic.
Boy, Devon Dotson got that bucket for Kansas. He got that loose ball when, by all rights, it should have been Kentucky's. But he was quicker to the ball.
Wide open Johnson. Boy, Kentucky missing some pretty good looks right now.
Yeah, he couldn't have a more open three. They found the open man. The exact right guy was Keldon Johnson. He got the shot in rhythm, just couldn't knock it down.
Lawson for three, and the lead grows for the Jayhawks.
That was a huge bucket for Kansas, just to get Dedrick Lawson to see it go through the net. He has been as hot as anyone over his last 5 games, 22 points a game.
For the helpful hardware, folks.
Back in Lexington, let's take a look now at tonight's Sonic Blockbuster. Kentucky at Kansas 1-2 in all-time wins and just all over the leaderboards, if you will, in every significant category in the history of college basketball. Mr. Billis, whatever your definition of a blue blood is, these guys are in the club.
They're at the top of the list. I mean, you put North Carolina and Duke in that blue blood category, but Kentucky, Kansas, I mean, there have been historically no better programs.
They meet once every 3 years in the Champions, and everybody very happy to hear today that the SEC Big 12 Challenge has been extended for 6 more years. And it kind of feels like these two are going to be on each other's schedule every season, that they'll meet each other in this event when they don't play in the Champions.
Well, that looked like a foul after the offensive rebound by Reed Travis. It looked like Dedrick Lawson got him on the arm when he went up. That looked like a foul.
Well, Kentucky now 3 for 18 from the field. 6 points in over 10 minutes as they turn it over. 2-on-1. Grimes to lay it in. The lead grows to 10.
You know, Kentucky's just not tough enough. They're not tough enough with the ball. They're not hanging on to it. They're not going after it. And they're not finishing any plays around the bucket. You know, it's amazing to me that Kansas is 16-3 with all that's gone on with the Jayhawks. Losing Udoka Azubuike for the season with that hand injury. You know, they don't have the same kind of shooters they had last year. Their freshmen have not performed quite as well as they expected early on.
Boy, that's just Travis out working people.
Well, that was an older player who seemed like he had had enough. And finally, Kentucky finishing a play. And he just wedged David McCormick out of there. Got the inside position, shot fake. Kept his eyes on the rim. Your eyes make layups, and he never took his eyes off the rim after that shot fake and kept him up there until that ball went through.
Grad transfer from Stanford, 2-time All-Pac-12. The freshman McCormick goes to the bench.
A different kind of one and done for Kentucky.
First points in 5 minutes, and that gets the crowd a little more upbeat, a little noisier here at Rupp.
Well, David McCormick did a really nice job. Good play by Washington to deflect that.
Hagan's over the top, and the finish for Washington. The big guy with a deflection at one end and a bucket at the other.
Reed Travis got it started, and P.J. Washington joining the party.
Big short. Momentum shift here in favor of the Cats. Hagan's. And Garrett down with it for Kansas.
And right now, ball handling will be at a premium for Kansas with Dotson out of the game.
Vic drives. Floater. Too strong. Got it back. Boy, that's a tough pass in traffic, isn't it?
What a catch. So when the shot was blocked, oftentimes when a shot gets blocked under the basket, it's the shooter that's going to get it back. And Lawson was prepared for it and then was able to put it in with that left hand.
With Lawson always being described as a kind of, you know, not above the rim kind of guy. How is he so good? How is he a 20 and 10 kind of guy?
He's got a great feel and just a great understanding. He anticipates really well, just got a great understanding for how to play. I mean, in practice today, he had a putback where, you know, he's not the most athletic, but he knew exactly where that ball was coming off. Great low post position by Reed Travis. I mean, he just ducked in and locked his defender down. That was big time.
Two terrific interior players in Reed Travis and Dedrick Lawson. Grimes trying to bull his way into the paint. He turned it over.
That many dribbles, you're going to turn it over.
Hagan's to Travis for 2 more.
Quentin Grimes with a little bit of a weaker drive. When you got to take 2 or 3 dribbles to get it in there, and then he just pitched it away, and Ashton Higgins gives it to the grab transfer. Reed Travis running the floor and finishing, getting the foul. Kentucky with the response.
This ladder is special. This first step, it's not even here. It's in the gym.
Thank you. As you can see, 5-3 for the Big 12 with this game and the other game Kevin was just talking about, the Arkansas-Texas Tech game, the last 2 games in the challenge. Once again, John Calipari wired for sound.
Don't stay in the game tired. If you only go 3-4 minutes, say, get me out. You know what it is? You're pressing about your performance. Losing to the team, my man.
And that first point Coach Cal made, he must have made 20 times when we were at practice yesterday, saying this will be an energy game. And he kept telling his players in practice yesterday, if you get tired tomorrow, sub yourself out. Kentucky on a bit of a run right now, back within 3, and now a steal by Higgins. And
what a play by Garrett. Boy, that's 2 great defenders back-to-back. And how about this? Neither one of the, only Ashton Higgins was on the midseason list for the National Defensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so. But see, instead of going with the cutter, he just turns around and takes the ball away from Marcus Garrett. You have to be aware of where he is all the time. Then Garrett comes back, saves a bucket. That's a big-time block by Marcus Garrett.
Because Kansas is thin and because Garrett is playing so well, he's basically worked himself into a situation where Bill Self doesn't want to take him out of the game at all. He needs him on the court at all times.
Yeah, he can't take him out.
What a burst of speed. Devon Dotson, KU by 5.
That young man is a clutch basketball player. You know, we saw Kansas play Tennessee in Brooklyn at the end of November when he went into the stanchion and got up, made those 2 huge free throws, and wound up with 17 points in that game. He was just magnificent.
Ashton Higgins with a lay-in. You talked about it earlier. The Kansas wins this year. They're 16-3 to have beaten Michigan State, Tennessee, Marquette, and Villanova. Some terrific wins for the Jayhawks.
But P.J. Washington had that ball, and it wound up being a 3. He's got that rebound in his hands. Instead, it bounces to Marcus Garrett, and they make a 3 out of it. What a big play.
Jamal Baker missed all of last year, the early part of this year with a knee injury, number 13. He's in the game to knock down some threes.
Reed Travis catching it a couple steps off a low block. He needs to catch it closer in.
Garrett helping out of the post. Good ball movement. Baker got his man in the air. What a rebound by Travis. And a finish.
Just bigger, stronger, and more determined. And it wound up with a foul on Dedrick Lawson. Just went right into his chest. Grabs it with 2 hands, can't knock it out of there, and then goes right into the chest of Lawson.
What a half so far for Reed Travis. 9 points, 5 rebounds already. And missed a couple of free throws though.
And very little of it has been from the initial pass. It's all been from the offensive rebound, the secondary part of the play. It's been all grit for Reed Travis.
Garrett with a floater. Around and out. Higgins crossing over, still going, and lays it in.
Boy, what an attack. The rebound by P.J. Washington, the outlet. And Ashton Higgins was pure speed in transition. Nobody wanted to get in his way.
Garrett not looking at Dotson as Dotson threw a pass in his direction.
There's really no reason for Devon Dotson to pass it. He certainly can't pass it to somebody who's not looking. Well, this has been a grinding game. And one of the big differences for Kentucky has been being able to get out a little bit in transition. Didn't finish one earlier against Marcus Garrett, but that time, Devon Dotson didn't feel like he could step in and take the charge. He just had to olay and let him go.
15-5 run right now for John Calipari's Wildcats to get back within 2.
And they've done it with defense.
And a chance to see both of these teams again on Tuesday. It starts with the Big 12 down in Austin. KU take it on Texas at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then Kentucky is at Vandy at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Remember that Tennessee-Vandy game on Tuesday night. The Volunteers down 6 late, force overtime, and they win. Both games also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. These are 2 really good leagues. This is a great event. SEC Big 12 Challenge. 4 SEC teams not competing in this because there are 14 in the SEC, 10 in the Big 12. But we're all excited. It's going to go 6 more years. Whenever you get a chance to see teams like this face off against one another, it's a win for everybody.
Especially in the middle of conference play, to play a high-level game, non-conference in the middle of conference play. That's big time.
And Hagen's in just a little bit too much of a hurry.
How big of a difference has Ashton Hagens made in this team? It mirrors what happened with last year's team when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander took over at the point. And Dan, you've heard me make this point before. Having a guy have his breakout game on defense is not common.
Hagens has 31 steals in his last 8 games. Turn around there by Lawson.
That's an NBA move right there. Pushed off the lane instead of having to get an angle to get to the basket, just being able to turn around and make that little sort of turnaround jumper push shot.
Hero's open for a deep 3, too strong.
How about Devon Dotson? When that ball is long or loose, it seems like he gets it every time.
Wow, Abachi stepping right into a 3 in transition, and Travis just going and getting that ball.
And going with 2 hands.
Trying to take Lawson, has to pick up his dribble. Ball screen Travis, Hagens to Hero. Runner, again off the back of the iron. Boy, Kentucky having good looks. Now transition for KU. Dotson goes around Hagens and lays it in.
And Dotson got it again. Keldon Johnson had that ball, and Dotson got it. It is remarkable how many loose balls Dotson gets.
Washington surrounded, and he finds Travis.
What a terrific pass by P.J. Washington. The double came. They didn't have the rotation down, and Washington took advantage of it. Double came from the high side, but it was not tight. And P.J. Washington found his teammate underneath. Beautifully done. Chin-ups.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire, for what you do, and in part by Northwestern Mutual. Spend your life living.
A thoroughbred horse into Rupp. I don't know if it's ever happened before, but it happened here. And coming up on the Jeep halftime report, you get to hear from Jay Will and Seth Greenberg again. But first, I want to know your big picture takeaway from what we've seen so far this Saturday.
Just Iowa State going into Ole Miss, getting a big-time win, but Lindale Wigginton really coming into his own as a player. And this team really has all the pieces to win the Big 12.
All right, Kentucky, they've withstood some of the punches. What have you seen so far from KU and Kentucky?
Well, Kentucky's still got to get out in transition and play ahead of the defense. They got to keep on pounding the paint, pounding the glass. Kansas, who got to rebound the basketball on the defensive end.
All right, Jay Will, Seth Greenberg, and Reese Davis coming up at halftime.
All right, Maria, thank you. To the bench with his second foul goes Devon Dotson. So now K.J. Lawson comes into the game. And as we look at the box score and what Bill Self has at his disposal right now, Jay, this is a pretty thin team at the moment.
He can really only play 6 guys right now, legitimate minutes. And really the issue now with Devon Dotson off the floor is who's going to be the primary handler. And here's the guy that needs to get going, is Gerald Vick.
Vick tonight 2 for 4 points. Garrett gets inside, and a block is called. The signal is that the defender was in the restricted area. And Travis is going to need some help getting up.
Anytime you see a guy in the restricted area, if you're even concerned they may be there, just go. Because any contact will be a foul on the defense if they don't jump straight up.
Richards looked like he might have taken a shot in the mouth or something in the same play. That's the second foul on Travis as Garrett goes to the line. Let's get more from Holly Rowe.
Well, I just listened into Bill Self's huddle. I always know he's upset with his team when he calls them soft in the huddle. But what he was really upset with was shot selection. He said our shot selection is not good right now. He wants them being more aggressive, getting smarter shots. And, of course, he had to put in K.J. Lawson because of Devon Dotson's foul trouble.
Well, to get better shots, you got to move the ball. All the action can't come off the first side of the floor. The ball's got to move from side to side, make the defense move, and then your attack can really affect the defense. But right now, it's been a lot of attacks against a set defense.
Johnson with an 18-footer around and out.
He has been quiet throughout the course of this game. Yeah, Kentucky's yet to hit a three.
And only shooting 32% from the field. They are down by 5. Dedrick Lawson inside, another block for Nick Richards. And Lawson working hard, gets a trip to the foul line.
He always gets it back. Dedrick Lawson, whenever he drives it, he is probably going to spin. And he did that in this first one. Nick Richards able to wipe it away. That should have been a foul right there because his arms were down. But the ball kept coming right back to Lawson, and that's not an accident. He is just a difficult cover. He can knock down a three. He can post. He's a big-time player.
Transfer from Memphis along with his brother KJ. The foul was on Richards. They, from what we just saw, should have credited Richards with 2 blocks in that sequence as well, which would give him 4 in the game, Jay.
Well, that's where he can really affect things. I like Kentucky trying to lift the offense now, give him a little bit more room down low.
How many shots have we seen from Kentucky bounce off the rim and not go down? Apache, look at this. Too strong off the glass.
It's not the kind of finish you want, but he is a bouncy, athletic body out there, a live body.
Yeah. And again, a guy who was scheduled a redshirt until the season-ending injury to Azubuike. They don't have DeSosa. They're a pretty thin team right now. Hero inside and a foul. How does it change things for KU not having Azubuike the rest of the season?
Well, it's Azubuike and Silvio DeSosa, who is there on the right. Without Azubuike, you don't have that presence inside that you can throw the ball to. They has to be double teamed. So it's a lot different. He's not that presence to block shots, to rebound. And so you're seeing a much different Kansas team than we've seen in years past. But last year's Kansas team, even though that had Azubuike, had 4 guys that could make 4 or 5 threes in a game each. Now, not every game, but they were capable of that. So the floor was spread. I mean, you not only had Gerald Vick, but you had Devontae Graham, Steve Mikhailuk, Malik Newman. You had guys that could really shoot it. And this year, Kansas does not have that. So spreading the floor is a lot more difficult. And you're seeing more packed defenses.
They're used to seeing Kansas having a lead guard with so much experience, whether it was Mason or Graham. There's so much younger in the backcourt, or other than Vic, but he's more of a wing guy for them.
Well, Vic needed to finish that. I mean, that was an easy layup.
Washington misses the 3.
And Kansas has to get tougher on its finishes, because that was one where you can't get a better shot. There's the spin.
How good is he at that?
He's just so smooth. I mean, talk about a guy who knows how to play. He just sets up his man, spins past him, and it's almost like there's nothing you can do about it. You can sit and talk about, well, you know, he's not the best athlete. Well, he's quicker than the guys guarding him because he knows how to play.
How about a first-half double-double for Dedrick Lawson, with P.J. Washington answering at the other end.
Bill Self wants his team to play faster. They're playing slow.
Lawson's already hit 1 3 tonight, not this time.
Trying to go 2 for 1.
Johnson, as you said, a quiet first half. A little noise right there.
Well, Kansas with the quick shot trying to go 2 for 1. That led to a run out.
Now about a 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
And without Dotson in there right now, they're getting pressured.
And they turn it over. No, a foul is called on Tyler Hero.
He was behind LeGerald Vick and reached in to knock that ball away. He got him. Looked like he got him with the body as he reached around from behind. Yeah, that's a foul. He hit his body there.
Kentucky not over the limit. That ball deflected, the official says, off Higgins. Higgins says he never touched it, but the play will go on, and now KU could basically run the clock right down. Garrett almost lost it, got it back. They're scrambling.
Good fake.
KJ Lawson, no, and that'll be all in the first half. With Kansas, despite some foul trouble, leading most of the way and holding on to a 3-point lead here at the break. Let's go to Maria Taylor with John Calipari.
All right, Coach, Kansas got out to a quick start, but you withstood the punch. What have you seen from your team?
We're getting breakout balls. We're trying to steal when we have no chance. We're not bringing in rebounds. You're not going to win the game playing that way against these guys. Lawson has third and fourth chance plays on 2 of our guys. You're not winning the game. So my message will be, if you want to win, you better bring in balls. And I don't want to hear the excuse of why you didn't bring it in, why you fumbled. Whatever it is, not good enough.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Holly?
Coach, Devon Dotson with 2 fouls in the first half. What happens to your group when he's not on the floor?
Well, you know, Higgins dominated the game there at the end, you know, with his defensive pressure, and we didn't really get into anything, but we'll do a better job with that second half. We got to keep Travis off the offensive boards, and we got to finish around the rim. I know they're long and shot blockers. We still got to finish.
Thank you, Coach.
Lots to look forward to with the second half. Kansas leading Kentucky by 3 here at the Rupp Arena. We'll send it to the Jeep halftime report with Reese, Seth, and Jay right after these messages. Tired. Neither team shooting the ball very well at all. Low scoring first half. Kansas leading by 3 over Kentucky as we welcome you back into Rupp Arena. We'll see what these two teams have in store for us here with the second half tonight of this huge game of the SEC Big 12 Challenge. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, welcome back. Best offense really for Kentucky was in transition.
Transition and a missed shot. It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. And any time that Kentucky could get in the open floor and play ahead of Kansas's defense, they had some success. But if it wasn't in transition, it was an absolute slog. A deflection and then taking it the other way. P.J. Washington laying it in. And then the steal by Ashton Higgins, who had a couple of steals and was very disruptive in that first half, getting it to Reed Travis for the finish. Travis had 12 points and 6 rebounds in that first half. But it was basically the open court that gave Kentucky its best offense, that and a missed shot. But I think Tyler Hero in the second half has to find some shots. Kentucky 0 of 8 from 3-point range in the first half. They've got to find Hero some open shots, maybe move him into some floppy action underneath where he can come off screens and catch the ball ready to shoot.
Let's get more now with Maria Taylor.
Well, Dan, you heard Jay mention it, and Dedrick Lawson had a double-double in that first half. I spoke with associate head coach Kenny Payne. He works with the forwards for Kentucky. He said what he told them at halftime is they have to do a better job fighting Lawson for space. They also have to keep him in front and keep him off the offensive glass here in the second half.
All right, Maria, thank you. Lawson was great. Travis was great. We're ready now for the start of the second half of our Sonic blockbuster, the SEC Big 12 Challenge. The Big 12 up 5-3 with this game and one other. Vic gets the first look of the second half, but misses the 3.
And a challenge one. Tyler Hero right on top of him. It was a catch and shoot, but a challenge one. Can't play better defense when the shot is put up.
Travis, some big moments on the offensive glass in the first half for Kentucky. Now Washington puts it on the deck, got a size advantage on Dotson.
They had to switch and caught the ball in the corner and just decided to shoot over the smaller Devon Dotson, who has those 2 fouls. Dotson does such a good job of handling pressure.
Grimes won't go down for him. Thought there was a chance, maybe like the last KU game, that Avachi might start the second half in place of Grimes. But Grimes is in there. He's got 2 fouls, as does Dotson. Hero. Still can't find one from beyond the arc. Good pass. Johnson from the corner. There's the first 3 of the night for Kentucky, and it gives them the lead.
Came off an offensive rebound and a great pass by Ashton Higgins.
Kansas led by as many as 10 early in the first half. Garrett driving, banks it home. How many times have we seen him do that in the last 3 Kansas games?
Well, the ball moved when he caught it at the top of the key. He was just body seeking. and just climbed the chest of the defender and was able to finish that play.
That's the first field goal of the night for Garrett, averaging 17 a game in his last 3.
You can't let him drive right.
Well, look at the contact that Travis seeks out, banging into the chest of Lawson, but he can't finish.
And Lawson held his ground, made him shoot over. That's the best defense you can play in that situation. Look how far Washington playing off of Marcus Garrett.
What a nice little fake by Dotson and the left-handed layup to put KU back on top.
He is just a stud. I mean, for a 19-year-old kid from Charlotte, North Carolina, born in Chicago, played with Grant Williams of Tennessee, the National Player of the Year candidate, played at Providence Day High School, played with Williams in AAU ball. It's a heck of a tandem in high school.
How about that game Williams had on Tuesday at Vandy? Hero with a left-handed runner of his own.
Well, Tyler Hero is much more than a shooter, but he is at his best when he's shooting the ball. Well, we got a warning on the coach's box of John Calipari.
And Calipari pointed at Bill Self as if to say, well, he's over the line too.
Well, what I don't like is they stop the game. You know, like Kansas is bringing the ball up.
There you can see him over the line. That's what that last little line is, about 10 feet before.
I mean, they're both out. Who
They're
cares?
both way out, yeah.
As long as they're not disrupting the game, who cares? Nice drive.
Lawson and Travis, no, out of bounds. Lawson stepped out of the baseline drive. Sure did. Look at Garrett coming over. He was double teaming before that pass even got into the post to Travis.
Yeah, he wanted to be there on the catch. When Travis catches it in deep with his foot in the lane, he's going to score or get fouled or both.
Pass deflected. Johnson has it. And fouled by Garrett. Our big Monday matchup comes to you from South Bend, Indiana. ACC action, #2 Duke taking on Notre Dame. Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett combined for 45 today. Duke trailed Georgia Tech by 8 at home early in the second half before rallying to win. That game Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app.
If I remember the stat sheet right, Duke was 2 of 17 from three-point range, but went 16 of 19 from the free throw line. And those have been difficult percentages for Duke all year long.
Kentucky with the lead and the crowd roaring here at Rupp.
Lawson needs to touch it. There's that little 4-5 ball screen up top.
Tipped around and eventually retrieved by Johnson.
Usually you'd be running that with Udoka Azubuike and Lawson, but that time it was Garrett. A lot different.
Travis with yet another offensive rebound and a finish.
That's just a wedge offensive rebound. He gets low and wedges Dedrick Lawson underneath and waits for the ball to come over and grabs it every time with 2 hands.
ESPN's
Big 12 has won 5 of the first 8 games. Don't sleep on the Cyclones. They're healthy now. They're good. That's a nice win at Ole Miss for Iowa State. TCU defeats Florida in a low-scoring affair today, 55-50. And Tennessee was actually down like 11, 13 points very early to West Virginia. Then Williams, Schofield and company roared back. They win it by 17. That is a tough group of players that Rick Barnes has.
Right now, Kansas is having difficulty guarding the paint and keeping Kentucky off the offensive glass. And he's not in the game right now, but LeGerald Vick has to get going for Kansas, or this can get away from the Jayhawks right now.
Abaji just came in for Vick at that last whistle. Lawson the kick. Shot clock at 7. Another touch for Lawson. Tough one from the baseline is there.
Are you kidding me? That's like a Dirk Nowitzki shot. And he was drawing a double team. Higgins was right there.
Kansas back within 2. They led most of the first half, but Kentucky on top right now. And we get a foul down low against Devon Dotson of Kansas, who on the other side will be featured in 94 feet with the one and the only Jay Billis.
What an
crab legs.
How about who's the funniest teammate you have?
Probably Marcus or Charlie Moore.
What's the hardest thing about playing point guard for Bill Self?
I would say just taking care of the ball and, just leading.
What does he get on you about as a freshman point guard?
I would say just leading and, being vocal out there on the court.
Who's the best player you've ever played against?
Josh Jackson, probably.
You hit some really clutch free throws against Tennessee after you hit the stanchion, hit your head. Did you have any cobwebs?
Oh, I had a few. I had about 2 cobwebs.
2 cobwebs. 94 feet. Those are big free throws.
Yeah, thanks.
That was great. Thanks for doing it.
I didn't realize you could quantify cobwebs. There's Reed Travis dipping that shoulder a little bit too much, and he gets called for the foul. How about Coach Self staring down Dotson, watching that whole 94 feet to make sure that he liked the way that went for his point?
Yeah, the micromanaging, let the kid have a break. He's having fun.
Number 3 on Travis. So Travis of Kentucky has 3. Dotson of Kansas has 3. But he stays in the game, and you mentioned it a couple times in the first half. He's another guy, really, they can hardly afford to take out right now.
No, they can't take him out. And he got rolled into the lane on a switch, and what he needs to do is break contact, get around in front the post instead of trying to muscle it.
Boy, Garrett got around Washington, but the loose ball comes down to Kentucky.
And again, Nick Richards with his shot-blocking, shot-changing ability. The offensive glass was almost wide open because he had 2 defensive rebounders going after the block shot. And Lawson was almost there for the stick back. Hero running along the baseline and Kansas switching everything just to be there on the catch. And when they switch it, you can throw the ball inside.
Richards got to get a shot off. He'll kick it to Higgins, who rattles home a 3.
Not his game. But John Calipari has been urging him to shoot it. He has got to take that shot in order to be guarded.
Just his 3rd made 3 of the season, and now 16 attempts. Floater by Grimes. Boy, it seems like everything that he has put up tonight has been off the back of the iron. Now he takes the 3, and that one will go. A big bucket for Kansas.
Boy, it's amazing after broken plays, offensive rebounds, loose balls, how you can get a rhythm 3.
Washington driving, gets the shot off over Dotson, but can't hit it. Got to slow this guy down if you can. Grimes passed up a 3 and now kicks it back out. And Lawson is fouled. It'll be Higgins reaching in, called for the foul.
Some of Kansas's passes have been a little bit off where they're not in the shooting pocket. The shooters are having to reach for the ball, and it's giving the defense the chance to close out and recover to the shooter. Those passes have to be more on target. They have been on time, but they have not been on target.
Kansas has won 3 in a row over Kentucky in this series, and they've won 13 in a row in the regular season against a top 10 team. Remarkable if you think about it. It's remarkable even if you don't think about it.
It is remarkable.
Washington, and Garrett getting his arm right in there and called for the foul. And there's the matchup for Garrett, who's really a guard, but he's playing the 4 spot in effect for Kansas, and he's having to guard a much bigger guy in Washington.
Either Garrett or Abaji is going to have to be on a bigger guy, and they're just taking him down into the low post and looking for that matchup and seeing where they can post it. With Gerald Vick back into the ball game, he has got to hunt shots. I don't think Kansas can win this game on the road with Gerald Vick only having 4 or 6 points. He's got to get hot.
Higgins gets a breather quickly into the point now for Kentucky. Different kind of a player, more of a shooter, not the defensive player that Higgins is.
Kansas look like they're in a little triangle in 2.
Kentucky by 2 with the ball, 13-10 to go in the second half here with Rupp.
Doesn't it feel like Kentucky is up more than 2?
Washington cradles it. Can't get it to go, and down with a rebound. Lawson knocked away, but it stays with KU.
Well, that's one you have to finish. I'm not sure that P.J. Washington is going to get a more open shot at the basket.
Abaji into all kinds of traffic, but he draws a foul.
Kansas playing with a little more speed right now. Their drives are harder. They're getting into the paint off one dribble, then kicking it and driving it right away. That's putting a lot of pressure on the Kentucky defense.
Hey, how about this coming your way over on ABC? It's NBA Saturday primetime, and it is a good one. The Warriors in Boston to take on the Celtics. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern. It's also available on the ESPN app wherever you may be. Abaji's been a real factor, Jay, in now 5 of the 6 games in which he's played since coming off that intended redshirt season. And again, not a big guy, another wing player, but he's important because they don't have much depth. Washington spinning on Lawson, and a foul on Dedrick Lawson.
Boy, terrific move by P.J. Washington, just taking it in the lane. And Dedrick Lawson just over pursuing by a half a step. And then essentially this is a drop step more than a spin. That's a beautiful drop step move. And Lawson having to foul to keep P.J. Washington from completing that play. That was a really nice drop step.
Washington, a guy who toyed with the idea of going into the NBA. He has had some big games this year. Had a huge game against Seton Hall, 29 points, 12 rebounds, and coming off a 21.4 block effort on Tuesday against Mississippi State.
He had 6 rebounds in that one against Mississippi State as well. Yeah, he's long-armed and very talented and a good passer. But you want him to be a little bit more assertive, to be more of a lead dog, because he can be.
E.J. Montgomery runs down the missed free throw. And what a productive trip for P.J. Washington.
So the question is, how will Kansas answer? Manuel quickly guarding LeGerald Vick.
Lawson over Montgomery. Ball still loose, and we got a foul going against Kansas. It's on Garrett.
After E.J. Montgomery chased down this offensive rebound off the missed free throw, immediately the ball went inside. It was reversed with the diagonal pass, and Tyler Hero immediately looked into P.J. Washington. That was beautifully done.
Quiet game for Hero. Washington becoming the go-to guy right now, but he misses this time.
Washington might have wanted to pull his way to the basket there. He had the advantage in the matchup.
Abaji. And Washington with yet another rebound. His 12th on the night.
So LeGerald Vick has to touch the ball.
Johnson knocks down a corner 3. Timeout, Bill Self. For us right out of the student section, so you can get a feel for what's going on. And there's our guy tonight, Cole Bullinger, who is running the camera tonight. He's a Louisville, don't tell anybody, he's a Louisville guy. And he's here in Lexington. And his career goal is to work in NBA communications. He is working hard tonight.
His arms got to hurt holding it up, holding it up all that time. I wonder if any union rules are being violated. Right now, Dan, LeGerald Vick has got to find a way to get open shots. I mean, he's inbounding the ball right now. LeGerald Vick, it's not that he's only shooting 33% in this game. That's not the issue. The issue is he's only got 6 shot attempts. Obaji's got the same number of shot attempts. And no offense to Ochai Agbaji, but I want LeGerald Vick shooting the ball more. And he's got to start hunting his shot and being more of a threat offensively.
Made his first 2 tonight, has missed his last 4.
Where he set a screen and got a screen.
A little too much contact down low. Montgomery is called for the foul.
You have to give Kentucky credit because they've not really left LeGerald Vick when he's been in the game. You know, they're trying to make him put the ball on the floor every time he catches it. But they've really taken away the catch as well, and they're not helping off of him.
Montgomery sits. Reed Travis back into the game. Travis 14-8 for Kentucky, and Diedrich Lawson 13-13 for Kansas. Let's see if Kentucky can get Hero a little bit more involved in the offense. He is 2 for 8 tonight, 6 points.
And also continue to pound the ball inside. Let Reed Travis touch it. P.J. Washington.
Travis a touch.
Give it back to him. There it is.
No double team. And he scores.
Yeah, that was just good basketball. Reposting, and he went right into the chest of Diedrich Lawson and just manhandled him, and Lawson's still down on the ground.
Yeah, he was shaken up, needs a little bit of help getting back to his feet.
Watch when he makes this turn. He goes right into the chest of Lawson. Boom. I mean, that you could argue that's an offensive foul. I mean, the referees say, hey, they always watch the hook. Well, there's a hook right here. Watch his off arm. I mean, he just thrusts his elbow into Diedrich Lawson.
The elbow there, but that's where he got him when he was already up in the air coming down. He got him with the second elbow, actually.
Yeah, but the play, I mean, look, I know it's painful, but the play was over by then. But it was the initial action that I can't imagine any referee watching that would say that's not an offensive foul. It's an offensive foul.
8-0 run, Cats. Dotson switches hands, not there. Lawson with a rebound and a putback.
Diedrich Lawson a little bit upset that he didn't get a three-point play on that. And right now, McCormick's going to take Reed Travis, bigger body, and let Diedrich Lawson take a little bit of a break. And it's been like being in the octagon for him every time he's guarding Reed Travis.
P.J. Washington driving, kicking. And stolen by Lawson.
Got to keep your dribble there. A little bit of contact. You can't lift up and just give the ball away.
And a floater by Grimes will wind up with him going to the free throw line.
But Grimes got bailed out there. He was about to short arm another one.
It's Great Super Tuesday doubleheader coming your way this week. You can see Kansas again as they are down in Austin to take on the Longhorns at 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then Kentucky at Vandy at 9 o'clock Eastern. Both games also available on the ESPN app as teams from both conferences will jump back into conference play. Kansas 5-2 in league play, tied with Kansas State for top spot in the conference. And I think as everybody who's ever watched a Kansas game ever knows, 14 consecutive Big 12 regular season titles, either outright or shared. Kansas State dangerous. Iowa State awfully good as well. It is not going to be an easy road to get number 15 for the Jayhawks.
Well, Quentin Grimes missing both those free throws. He's guiding the ball and not shooting it. I mean, those were two guided attempts instead of just letting it fly. He has really struggled. He's going to be a really good player, but he's thinking everything now. What a bad pass.
McCormick knocked it away, and eventually a foul on Montgomery of Kentucky. Higgins back into the game with a point for Kentucky.
Well, Higgins has 6 assists in this ball game. That's his 4th turnover. And just that was just a lame duck. You have to keep attacking right now. And the key is going to be, can you get it in the hands of Gerald Vick? Oh, what a crowd he is drawing, Diedrich Lawson, every time he puts it on the deck.
Pushed off a little, created some space, missed the shot, and yet another rebound for Reed Travis.
He's having to create it all himself. And he's going against the set defense. The ball's not moving.
Grimes stays in front of Hero, 10 on the shot clock.
I think they want to look back into Reed Travis. He's got Lawson on him again.
Boy, he sets good screens, doesn't he? Wide open Montgomery. Kansas ball. And the 15-footer not there for McCormick, who could make that shot, but never really got stopped. The line drive there.
You don't want him shooting that shot. And that's on Devon Dotson. You don't give the ball up to McCormick there. Because you're begging him to take a shot you don't want him to take. Like, that's not the time for your substitute 5-man to throw up a jumper.
Pretty good pass there from Travis. But long on the three is Higgins. What a save. Travis saved it. Hero, no. And out of bounds to Kansas. A 6-point lead for Kentucky. Under 8 minutes to go. Let's send it back to the studio and get an update with Kevin Connors.
Yeah, Dan, 6-point game for you guys and a 6-point game.
In the last 4 years, Gino Auriemma said, hey, when we lose, it's on the CBS National News every night. But they are trying to rebound and reclaim their season. Last year against Louisville, they really struggled in the second half, but they have all 5 starters averaging in double figures. For more on Louisville, let's head over to Maria Taylor.
Well, Holly, I know it's probably a sin to talk good Louisville basketball right here in Rupp Arena, but Asia Durr already has 30-point games this season. There's 3 of them to her name. She's the leading scorer for Louisville, and the player to watch, because she could be the National Player of the Year this season. It's going to be a great one on Thursday when they take on UConn.
Maria, Holly, thank you. A couple of Wooden Award candidates in that game. Number 4, number 3, Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here on ESPN.
You better watch Nafisa Collier, too. She's averaging 18 points, 10 rebounds, shooting over 58% from the field. She's a stud.
For people who haven't seen this entire game, what's wrong with Kansas offensively right now? Where do they need to go?
Kansas has been very one-dimensional. And, look, you want to get the ball to Dedrick Lawson every opportunity, but he's being loaded up on. So LeGerald Vick needs to find some opportunities. And Devon Dotson has to continue to drive the ball, but the ball has to move. It's been a lot of 1-on-3 when they get the ball. There's only 4 assists for this Kansas team throughout the course of this game. 4.
McCormick working hard, runs down the loose ball, and gets the Jayhawks another possession. A good recovery by Johnson to stay in front of Grimes.
Good pass.
Tipped by Higgins, out of bounds, still Kansas ball, 15 to shoot.
After that penetration, Keldon Johnson did a very nice job of recovering to Quentin Grimes in that corner, taking the shot and the drive away. And right now, the guy inbounding the ball, number 24, LeGerald Vick. And he's only made 2 field goals in this game. He's taken 6, and he needs to get shots.
Grimes, a 3 from the corner, a huge bucket for Kansas.
Nice little fade screen over in the corner to get Grimes open. Really well called off the out-of-bounds play by Bill Self.
And again, it feels like Kentucky is winning by more, but it's just a 3-point game.
Here comes the double. Good pass. Got Grimes holding Reed Travis. And take a look right here. The screen's going to happen in this area of the floor. You're going to see McCormick, number 33, set a little back screen there. A fade into the corner, and Reed Travis not up there. You got to switch out on that, because there's no way you're going to be able to get hit and then recover to that corner. And Travis, who's an intelligent defender, needed to be alert to that.
Washington, long jumper. It's a long 2 for Washington to make it a 5-point game.
Well, P.J. Washington has had a nice ball game. That's 13 points, 12 rebounds for him in this one.
And Keldon Johnson called for the foul. John Calipari not thrilled.
He's not thrilled with the screen. He thinks it was an illegal screen. It was just a good screen, good hard screen. I think he's saying that McCormick had his arms out, but you can see that Keldon Johnson just held on to him just a little bit.
And bonus here for McCormick, 5 for 10 from the line on the season. Can't convert. And it looks like that's going to get Marcus Garrett back into the game for Kansas, as Bill Self will, it looks like he'll downsize again.
Garrett 1 of 9 from the field. He's done a great job defensively, but hasn't been able to get anything going on the offensive end. Just had that 1 drive.
There hasn't really been a second option, as you mentioned, offensively for Kansas most of the night. Shot clock running down. Higgins, wow.
Boy, shot clock going down, and Ashton Higgins with the step back.
Dotson forcing one up.
Over the long arms of Ashton Higgins. Just a poor decision by the freshman. This is where you can get some separation if you can score here.
And a foul on Lawson.
Kansas had defended pretty well for about 26 seconds. But with the shot clock winding down, that's a terrific step back. And Devon Dotson not able to put on the brakes in order to stay in front of Higgins and take that shot away. That's a big play by the freshman from Kentucky, who has been a game changer with his emergence at the point guard position.
Quickly back in for Kentucky, Johnson to the bench, and Garrett and Abaji take the spot of McCormick and Dotson for Kansas.
Overall, Kentucky a pretty good free throw shooting team. As a team, they shoot about 75% from the free throw line. P.J. Washington shoots just under 70.
One of two, 14 points, 13 rebounds for Washington tonight. He and Travis both with double-doubles for the Cats. Good hands by Higgins, and he's got it. What a defender he is.
Well, you take Devon Dotson out of the game, and there are no ball handlers, no primary handlers into the game for Kansas, and Higgins is going to be able to take advantage of that, and he has.
Again, averaging about 4 steals per game in his last 8 games.
His anticipation is so good. He's not just a great athlete.
Ooh, that pass there. Yeah. Quickly turns it over. Kansas needs a bucket. Grimes for 3. Got it.
LeGerald Vick created that with his penetration. Looked like he was going to turn the corner. That got Grimes' defender just to stunt a little bit, and it opened it up.
Grimes now with 13, second only on Kansas to Lawson tonight. He's got 15.
And give credit to Bill Self. He stuck with them when he was struggling. We were surprised he started the second half. And Grimes has responded, hitting some shots.
What a pass from Hero to Washington. Kansas running the weave. Garrett trying to get as deep as he can. Got stopped by Higgins.
A good pass in there and a great hold off by Lawson. P.J. Washington, a double-double, taking it hard to the rack. He has been a difference maker in this one against Kansas.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by H&R Block. In person or online, Block has your back. And in part by Boost Mobile. Boost makes it easy to switch. Switching makes it easy to save.
You and I think, I know you've talked about them a lot. How could you be Michigan State and be this good? And somehow it seems like people are sleeping on this team.
Yeah, they've won, what, 20 Big Ten games in a row. They're legit, and they're national championship good. But I got called out by Michigan State today after I said that they were going to have to supply long underwear for us because it's going to be like around 0 next weekend in East Lansing. So they said, hey, Phyllis, toughen up. You got to be tougher in the weather. So, all right, we're going to do 94 feet. Tom Izzo and I on the football field wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
Nice.
We'll see if the Youper is tougher than the guy from Los Angeles.
Has Coach Izzo agreed to that already?
Well, he's going to agree to it after getting called out on national TV. We're going to, you know what we'll do? Not 94 feet. We're going to go 94 yards.
Should. Yeah.
In shorts and a T-shirt, barefoot.
Your teeth will be chattering. You'll have trouble getting the questions out by the time you cross midfield.
Nah, I grew up in the mean streets of Rolling Hills, California. I wasn't some like wilting flower from the UP.
You want me to bring an extra set of long johns for you?
Please,
plenty.
please,
Yeah, okay.
please. Maybe a space heater.
5-point game, 3.5 to go.
The switch. You have Dotson on Travis down low.
Keldon Johnson for 3.
If that didn't go in, it probably would have been a Reed Travis offensive rebound. Kentucky really taking advantage of switches. A great job by Hero to take away that shot by LeGerald Vick. Vick has not had a shot since the opening shot of the second half.
Crazy. And a Kansas turnover with just 2:47 to go.
Anytime that Kansas switches, and they are switching a lot, you have to take something away. Every switch has been hurting Kansas. And Kentucky's being able to take advantage of mismatches as a result. There's another switch. You got LeGerald Vick on Reed Travis.
You got Washington wide open for three. And the foul going against Dedrick Lawson, trying to fend off Reed Travis, number 4 on Lawson.
You had Vick switch off on Travis. Marcus Garrett had to help. That opened up the shot by P.J. Washington, and then Lawson had to come over to try to block out Reed Travis, and Travis had the inside position because of that. I mean, it's just Kentucky taking advantage of the switches.
And we're going to have a review here. They're going to look to see if there was a hook and hold under the basket. Something new that they brought in this year. Sometimes you can have a foul called on one guy, but if the other guy initiated it by hooking him with his arm. We'll get a look at the replay here. Watch Travis and Lawson down low. So the common foul was called on Lawson.
Couldn't tell from that angle. Yeah, that's going to be a flagrant one on Dedrick Lawson.
Yeah, Travis doing nothing wrong.
Because, you know, sometimes arms can get tangled up, but see his wrist with his hand wrapped around the arm of Reed Travis. That is good. That's going to be called a hook and hold, which is a flagrant one. It's automatic.
And it's a big call. If it's a common foul, it's 1-1 for Kentucky. If it's a flagrant one, it's 2 in the ball.
Yeah, and I'm not sure even the deceptive part of it even matters in the rule anymore. It's really kind of a bright line. If you wrap your arm around the other arm, they're gonna call that an F1. And I don't know why they have to have multiple guys look at this. You know, once one guy sees it, call it, let's go. These things take way too long. It's ridiculous.
Watch the right arm of Lawson.
You need 3 guys to look at that. That's a hook and hold. End of story.
So again, on the floor, called a common. Are they going to upgrade it to a flagrant one?
Absolutely, they have to. I mean, if they're going to stick by the rim, whenever they go to talk, they're going to say flagrant one.
And confirmed. The right call, and again a big call because it's going to be 2 in the ball for Kentucky.
It's the right call, but you know, look how long this takes.
Yeah.
And you got 3 guys looking at it. They have a committee meeting. They explain it to everybody. And it just takes too long.
So 2 shots coming for Travis. Sports Center tonight after X Games Aspen with John Anderson and Steve Levy. They'll break down the Warriors, Celtics, have some post-game reaction, all the highlights from this game, and you'll hear from Tom Brady for the latest on the Patriots and the Rams. Sports Center, midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Isn't it amazing? We can review hook and hold in college basketball, but not pass interference in the NFL.
Let's not go down that road. But you're 100% right. 10-point lead now, Kentucky. And again, because it was an F1, they've got the ball back. And another Kansas foul. And Bill Self doing more and more pacing and more grimacing as the minutes move on here late in the second half.
I love it when the officials look at the coaches are saying something to them, and they look at them like they're a child. Like, you want to say something more? I'll send you to your room. Like, either turn around or just call it.
Well, Kansas needs to score, and they need to score quickly, and they have not been a good offensive team tonight at all. Shooting just 35% and only 6 assists on 20 made field goals.
And Tyler Hero is not letting LeGerald Vick breathe, not even looking to help off.
And they don't get it. Johnson misses the 3. Johnson the rebound, and now Kentucky, they can play this with a little bit of
Yeah, there's not enough time. There's just not enough time. They're going to have to foul, otherwise they're going to run the whole clock. There aren't enough possessions for Kansas to get back in this.
Shot clock at 5, and Kentucky Hero turns it over. Big, tough pass ahead to Garrett, who does all he can do just to keep it in bounds. But again, seconds are ticking away. Vic for 3. First field goal attempt for Vic since the opening seconds of the second half. A 7-point game.
And came off a broken play. But if Kentucky can inbound it without throwing it away, I mean, if they don't throw the ball away, they've got the game won. But Tyler Hero threw the ball away on the last possession. So it still took a lot of time for Kansas to get that 3.
And Jay, one of the differences in this game, Dedrick Lawson's been great for Kansas, but Kentucky's got 2 big guys who have played very well.
Well, Reed Travis has a double-double, as does P.J. Washington. And Keldon Johnson not far off. But really, it's been the grit inside of Reed Travis that got Kentucky going. Taking advantage of mismatches, taking advantage of switches. And then P.J. Washington has done it on both ends of the floor. Rebounding the ball, he's got 3 offensive rebounds, 10 defensive rebounds to go along with his 16 points. Nice little pocket pass from Tyler Hero off the pick and roll. And the finish. Travis has been a monster on the offensive glass, but really Kentucky, as we thought they might, has dominated the paint. They've got right around 40 points in the paint, and they've doubled up on Kansas in that regard.
Big nights from both big guys for Kentucky. You can't fault Dedrick Lawson. He's got 17 points, 14 rebounds for Kansas. But
he's all by himself. He's the only big guy, really, that's playing any minutes, and everybody else is undersized and getting overpowered.
Let's go to Holly Road near the Kansas huddle.
Well, Kansas coach Bill Self just reminded his team no timeouts left, but he also had a strategy. He said, we want to trap to steal in the backcourt, but once it gets into the forecourt, I want you to hack on the second touch. So giving them some very specific instructions for the last timeouts here.
All right, Holly, and again, a difficult situation out of timeouts. Just a minute 15 to go. The trap. And Washington will call a timeout.
Yeah, you don't want to catch it in that corner. That's the coffin corner, and the sideline, baseline serve as additional defenders. That's the last place you want to inbound the ball.
John Calipari saying only one guy should be talking in this huddle right now, and that's me, as he quiets his kids.
It sounds like working with you.
Let's listen in to the best of Coach Cal wired tonight.
What a great game to play. This thing's over in 2 hours. You know what it is? You're pressing about your performance. Losing to the team, my man. Hey, I want you to play 5. You're not backing away.
Always appreciate the coaches giving us some sound during the game. Huge game, and again, out of conference. Both teams step back into conference Tuesday, and those are different. But for a chance for programs of this caliber to play each other here in late, the coaches may not love it, because once they get in that conference mindset, they stay there. But I'll tell you, we love it. And I think fans love it.
And the players love it, too. I mean, players don't go to these big programs to play in directional games. You remember these games.
That is the 10th team foul committed by KU, so 2 free throws the rest of the way for Kentucky.
Yeah, this basically has to be a free throw contest for Kansas to get back in this. P.J. Washington shoots about 67-68% from the free throw line. Yeah, he's really improved his three-point stroke as well. He's shooting over 40% as a big guy from 3, and that can really help stretch a defense.
Yeah, it would seem midway through this season a very good decision by Washington to come back for another year here in college. And he makes them both.
Right now, Kentucky has to take away threes, do not help off LaGerald Vick, and then do not foul.
Vic got the shot up over Hero and knocks it down. Tough three for Vic.
That's a little fade screen, rescreen. Whenever they need a three, that's what they run. Kansas didn't have the fade, but got the rescreen.
And Garrett holds Washington, so Washington will go back to the line for 2 more.
Now take a look here at LeGerald Vic. He's going to get a fade screen, which is going to take him to the corner, but it was well defended. There's the fade, and then there's a rescreen that comes. And the rescreen is where he got the separation. So Tyler Hero goes over the top on the fade, and then got hit with the rescreen action. Just really well run by Kansas. Just wasn't run early enough. Like, we didn't see that kind of movement out of LeGerald Vic throughout the course of the second half. He just wasn't aggressive hunting his shot.
For a guy who, when he's got it going, he can put 30 on you in a hurry.
And has.
Yep. Boy, more big free throws converted here by Washington.
What was it, early in the season against, I think it was Vermont and then Louisiana. He went back-to-back 30-point games where he couldn't miss. I mean, he's shooting almost 50% from three.
He had a 5-game stretch early in the season. He went 28 for 43 from three-point range.
Good job by Hero making him pick it up.
Now he's hunting his shot. Low percentage look there. Came up empty. Eight-point lead, 43 seconds to go. And Johnson waiting to get fouled. They haven't done it yet. It looks like
second up.
Yep.
Now they are. Boy, that's way too long. I mean, they gave up a lot of time there.
And the Kentucky fans feels like they're exhaling right now. That they feel this one belongs to them. This will be a 6-game winning streak now for Kentucky. And the win here tonight would snap a 3-game losing streak in this series against Kansas.
I think the last game Kentucky won in this series was in the Champions Classic in the 14-15 season, right?
That was their 72-40 game.
Yeah, when they
blew them out.
When they blocked every shot except the shots Kansas took in warm-ups.
Lawson got it. 18.6 to go, but still a 7-point game. And they'll foul perhaps one last time.
I think that might be it for Dotson.
Yep, you are correct. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, Kentucky back at the conference. Well, both schools back at the conference play. Kentucky will go to Vanderbilt on Tuesday. Then at Florida, at Mississippi State. Got some tough games coming up. They got Tennessee coming here in the middle of February.
How good of a job has Ashton Hagens done, not only in this game, but of late. I mean, he's really changed this team.
After the transfer of Quade Green, the role is redefined, a bigger role for Hagens, and it's kind of become his team in many ways. A block by Washington. And an exclamation point on a Kentucky win over Kansas here tonight. It was not a work of art, my friend, but it's a W that I think the Kentucky staff will cherish.
Well, Kentucky dominated the paint. Their big guys took advantage of switches. They got the ball inside, and they beat up Kansas on the offensive glass. But Kentucky's defense was excellent as well. They took LeGerald Vic out of the game, didn't let him have open threes. And most of Kansas's baskets were unassisted. That meant they had to go on their own in order to get something going.
And how about 3 different Wildcats with a double-double tonight? P.J. Washington, 20 and 13.